the inverse square is directly proportional to our serenity. You can read that in Chapter 5, How It Works, in the 3rd edition of Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Remember in Southern California, they used to talk about the inversion layer? How that relates to what? Altitude, density altitude, electrical density altitude of consciousness, and why universes run out of energy, because they run out of gas. Okay, so there are other simpler ways to explain it, I suppose. Through experience, by experiencing the holographic data, what the data is informing us of, in form, the intra, thra, ra, right? Intra, the inner cellular, right? The inner soul, the inner cell, the mirror, the magnetic recorder. So I was listening to a short blurb by R.K. Seeker of Truth talking about the Elohim and the Lyran wars and the nature of control, as it's inversely proportional to the degree to which you experience serenity. 0 degrees. And the gift and the wisdom of Sophia, which is androgynous, which is perfect atmospheric balance. So when you become one magnet, that's the brilliance of a triangle. Okay. 3 in 1, 300 to 1. Coolant. Grease the skids, baby. And so it's I'm reminded of a time when I met a guy that I worked with in the United States Forest Service. His name was Chuck Galbraith, and we worked on a helicopter crew, and so this was a lot of, you know what an alpha male is, the male dominant size. It gets into competition and athletic abilities and how strong you are and how tough you are and your ability to withstand. And I'm not going to do a video on data acquisition and how data that is acquired by virtue of throwing a gazillion different weapons at us and then acquiring all the data. Wow, look how well they were able to adapt against all the weapons that we're throwing against the DNA, and the consciousness that is running that DNA is finding highly creative ways in which to be able to put a tunnel underneath our walls, be able to jump over our walls, which is jumping over a frequency fence. Wow, the level of creative power that this spirit has, we can't catch up with it. It's moving faster than we are. That's called learning speed. That's the gift of free choice. So when he was talking about control and why it is necessary, why it's actually critical, okay, that love is free, which is free choice, because now you're free to create whatever you choose. Because the energy that we're going to use in spirit form, which is the flow, the energy is naturally going to create what we experience next at the completion of a circuit, which is what love is. So you're experiencing the first engine. And the first engine doesn't carry any baggage. It's not pulling any freight cars. Because that means that spirit that is in that light, which is experiencing what love is, it is on fire, is seeking the natural pathway of least electrical density to experience 0 degrees. That's a single point of origin, which is breathing eternal peace. So when you're not doing any harm to others, you're naturally not doing any harm to your own selves, which is the inner you. That's the brilliance of being what love is. Because now you're free to create as a co-creator, or the first grand creator spirit, the first spirit of fire. So fire is what frees you. That's what frees us. It frees you, the why. Yeah. That's why when they showed the peace symbol that came out in the 1960s, okay, and they said that it was, they reversed it, didn't they? Going down this way. Right? So now you get into the ruche, right? Nodes, lines of communication between one sphere and another sphere, as in a network. The first network builder, the first formation of consciousness, the first consciousness field, experiencing eternal, absolute, pure love that's on fire to create more of what we're experiencing in our mirror, which is what we are in spirit, which is what love is. So this is how simple it is. I am everything that you are, that I'm gifting love to. Because you know that that mirror is running hot, which means you're on fire to learn, which is synonymous with on fire to create. More of what we're learning about ourselves was possible to experience. What's possible? So eternal love makes everything possible, doesn't it? That's the engine that goes on forever, because you can't ever put the first engine. You can't ever put that fire out, which means you can't ever put that love engine out, because it's moving higher at a higher rate of speed, because it's always on fire to be free, which is a free spirit. That's how simple it is. The first spirit is a spirit of fire, which is always on fire to create. So that's where you get into the vampire chasing the artist. See, they can't love what they can't control. So control is their dilemma, but it's not ours. Because I am what love is, which is a free spirit, which is on fire to create, which is on fire to learn. So now we're in the learning speed, learning how to become one, learning how to experience being one with Christos Sophia, which is androgynous, which is perfect balance. So the atoms are spinning in perfect balance. So there isn't any distortions. Yeah. Have a beautiful day. We love you all. Be good to ourselves.